I think so. Yeah, I think if you're talking about like outreach to people, we have a lot of listeners, and I would say in the thousands. It's hard to say exactly. Tie that to where you asked, is it important to us if we have many listeners? Do we care if it's 10,000? Do we care if it's 1,000? We like to have listeners, but we're not counting every single one and trying to just get like people on Twitter trying to get as many followers as possible. But what we want is quality over quantity. We like getting feedback back, even if it's critical. We like getting that. We like getting feedback. We love getting the emails. We love getting the messages. We love especially getting voicemails that we can put on the podcast. And that's what really drives us to it, because we're not making money off the podcast. But when you get that email saying, "Oh, I really like that point. Oh, you had this effect. Oh, I talked about the podcast with my friends," or we're like, "Oh, wow, we're actually having an impact out there that we didn't expect. It's just the four of us chatting, but we're actually leaving an impact there." But if you one other point on the financials. So the first goal is to break even. But the second that we would like to do, and what I'm putting my money from the ebook toward, is just to build up a fund so we can actually meet each other in person and maybe like go to conventions, that sort of thing, and meet other fans. So that's our secondary.
That sounds like a good goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of OCD about the numbers, but that's just because I want to like see that lots of people are reading my stuff. Because as an academic, you kind of get used to the idea that no one will ever, 5 people in the country will be interested in what you're interested in, and then you click on the stats page in WordPress, and it's like X hundred people have read your blog today, and you're like, I am not shouting into nothingness.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't mention this because it's very tentative, and Johnny will probably kill me. But I think it's worth bringing up. I'm not much of a convention guy, to be honest with you, and apparently I live in Cleveland, Ohio, just outside Cleveland, Ohio. There's a convention going on down southeastern around Hocking Hills, Ohio. I don't even know what it's called now. Have you guys heard about this? There's like a castle, and they're going to go have photo ops, and George Martin's supposed to have a Skype conversation with the fans.
Oh, like a Song of Ice and Fire convention? Or
yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've never gone to a con in my life.
Okay, there we go. Apparently, me being in Ohio and they being in Ohio and having panels and whatnot, Johnny is talking to them about me being on one of the panels, talk about our experiences on Flight of Sorrows and so on and so forth. So that'd be interesting.
I think you should attend if you can. I think conventions are a great way to meet other people who are interested in the same thing and to get that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. It seems interesting. I've never done it before. Are you Mr. Convention? I mean,
actually, I'm not. I just went to my first few ones recently, but I'm hoping to get to more. Ashley goes to a lot of conventions. I mean, her interests also brought into anime and that sort of thing, and she goes there. But she's gone to some conventions where there's been panels on Game of Thrones / Ice and Fire, just like a panel, and she's always like, "Hey, I want to be on this panel. I know more than the people on the panel," so she wants to do that. Yeah.
That's what Johnny said too. He's been to a couple, and he's like, "These people aren't really experts on the subject." Tell her to come out. We have kind of a spare room next to the baby's crib. She can sleep there.
Yeah, I'll let her know about it.
So anyway, audiobook. That's what we're doing next.
So who's do we have confirmed like who's reading what? Like do Mimi and I get to read our own essays?
We are leaving it open if the authors want to read their essays individually. I know Doug Cohen can't because he has a bit of big news. He's doing the Wizard of Oz anthology remake, if you will, for Amazon.
I'm certain there's plenty of people who want to hear Mimi read hers. So she's got a lot of fans.
Quite the good voice. Other than that, I know that Phil from Winter is Coming, he'll probably come on. He's interested at least in coming on and reading his piece. I haven't heard back from Chelsea yet, so all this stuff is very much kind of up in the air. Mm-hmm. And as far as the special features go, that's something that I'm not comfortable talking about just yet, since that's still very malleable and we're trying to talk to different people about what to do. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing around almost like a DVD release with the special features, maybe doing commentary tracks and stuff like that. I have no idea when this thing will come out, so we'll have to see.
Will it be out before the Winds of Winter?
Well, so you're asking me if it'll be out before the year 2031. My guess is yes. And then on top of that, we're also doing a second version. I think we're doing a second version of A Flight of Sorrows, which again is still very much up in the air, so not too comfortable saying conclusively what it is. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of personally, I'm shooting for the first quarter of next year. I want both of them to come out basically not day and date, but very close to one another. And the idea is to give different formats and different people different opportunities to read or to listen to these things and to enjoy them in different ways. So we'll see.
So how has like the feedback been on the current ebook? Just like more details on that.
It's been extremely positive. Amazingly positive. Actually, just today I posted a little thing on the Facebook page like, all right, $5.99. I think that is, and I figure people would say too much money, just enough. It's okay. But of the 4 or 5 responses or so that we've gotten, that's perfect, beautiful, $6. It's better than $10 for Beyond the Wall. So yeah, I have yet to really hear a bad thing. I'm starting to get self-conscious, like people are afraid of hurting my feelings or something.
Oh, I think they'll say it if what they want. If they want to say. What I like about the Amazon reviews is a lot of the reviews have been from people who listen to my podcast, because I can tell that they caught some of the references that I put in that
Cool.
that only like they're subtle, so they don't like if you don't know the podcast, it's not going to ruin your enjoyment of the essay. But if you do know the podcast, then you'll catch the little references there. So.
That brings up a good question. How's it been for you and Mimi? I mean, this is like a whole new venture for you guys, right?
Yeah, it's been another step away from our past status, like because the podcast's been out there for 4 years. We always had good interaction with the fans, but we've always been ignored a lot of by like the power players for a while. Okay. I don't and power players I don't say like, because there's 3 websites that are the trinity of Ice and Fire: Westeros, Winter is Coming, and Tower of the Hand. We've always had good relations with all 3 of them. We've co-hosted with them, but we also have we've had tons of guest hosts. In 90 episodes, we've had 70 guest hosts, which I think is an amazing status. So we've always been with the fans.
I think half of them were just on the episode I was on.
Yeah. So with the fandom, we've always been good, but like with the people who are supposedly the power players, we've been ignored by them for a long time. But recently, we've got the Feast of Ice and Fire to review. They sent us Beyond the Wall, so we're getting stuff to review, which is nice. And so I think this was like another step in formally, like, you know, being known in this community, not just like informally. It's nice.
All right, who's transcribing all of our conversations here?
Oh, sorry, that was me. I'll stop typing.
Yeah.
I wasn't transcribing though. I was trying to put this Bram 3 analysis to bed, because I've had it mostly written, and Bran chapters are hard from my angle, man. He doesn't do a whole lot of politics.
Well, there's that one chapter that he does, though, or at least he sees it, in Clash of Kings, where they have the meeting, everyone comes to court, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. There's
one last little thing I wanted to quote unquote announce. In addition to the audiobook, in addition to the mysterious format version of A Flight of Sorrows, also going to do we're calling them a Blue Buddha one shot, which are short little, kind of like a Kindle single, basically, but just it won't be released through the Kindle single envelope. It's going to be a short little essay. It's going to be made available normally for $1 through the Kindle store, but as a special thank you to all the fans, because they've been so incredibly supportive, and the book's been selling very well. Very, very happy about that, and such great feedback that we're going to give it away starting in Thanksgiving and going all the way till the end of the year completely for free. Awesome. And it's just something. Cool. I know it's only $1 and not that great of a special deal, but hopefully it's the thought that counts, and people appreciate the effort that we're putting out for them.
People like free stuff, so.
That too, yeah. So with that said, question and answer time.
Sure. So is this going to be like we'll have an audio segment here and then go on to that? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So ultimately, once this podcast gets up and running, and oh, by the way, there's no official timetable for it. There's no like every week, every 2 weeks. It's kind of like what you guys do, isn't it? I mean, with Podcast of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, unless we have the HBO show that forces us to record by a certain time, then that's like our on season. But otherwise, we're off season. We can do whatever we want, right? Work with our schedules.
Which you do. Yeah. So whenever we do end up doing this, I do want to get a bunch of questions. A question from the fans, that's great. Questions from other journalists or Song of Ice and Fire community people, whatever. Mm-hmm. We did have a couple that I wanted to throw your guys' way. I'm interested in hearing from both of you. So Nick Hanfield-Jones said that he just reread Tyrion 1 from Clash of Kings. And in this chapter, we find out that it was Varys' idea to relieve Barristan of his duties. Also, in Sansa 5 from A Game of Thrones, Varys tells Joffrey that Barristan's threats are idle talk without meaning. From this, we can imply that Varys planned or intended for Barristan going out to help Dany. If Varys and Illyrio did not, in fact, mean to help Viserys and Daenerys, then why did Varys do this?
Do you mind if I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. We actually talked about this on the podcast when we did the chapter reread, and we also agreed that Varys definitely wanted to save Barristan because Barristan is a useful player. Even Tywin mentions that, right? Barristan is somebody who gives legitimacy to whatever cause he follows. So Varys for sure was saving Barristan. And why did he send him to Dany? Well, that ties into the bigger question: is what exactly is Varys doing, and do his motives make sense? And there are various theories out there, like with Blackfires and Targaryens, that sort of thing, that try to make an answer to it. But it is really complicated because he does seem like he's contradicting himself sometimes. So.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I always try to keep in mind whenever I'm dealing with the conspiracies is there's always an element of improvisation. You know, no plan survives contact with the enemy. And, you know, especially with someone who is as cautious